to the legends of the creative and entertainment industries. We talk to those on the rise. Steen Anthony Nielsen asks about the highs, the lows, and everything in between. This is Outcast Creative, and this is Industry Interviews.
Morning. I don't think I've done an industry interview at 10 o'clock in the morning before, but there's a first time for everything. And I always work around the availability of my guests. And this man has been quite hard to pin down. So I'm very grateful to have him. My guest has been working in a multitude of roles within the British music scene since the 80s. Up to the present day. He's one of the most in-demand DJs on the rave scene. He's literally played over 1,000 gigs, everybody, everywhere in the UK, Ibiza, internationally, all over the place, dozens and dozens and dozens of venues you will have heard of. He's also produced singles, had hits in the charts, hosted radio shows, and played some of the most iconic parties that started off, that kicked off the rave scene. You're talking about Fantasia, Dreamscape, things like that. He was at the beginning of RAINDANCE, and he currently plays. He's going to be at RAINDANCE this Saturday. So just giving RAINDANCE another plug. If you haven't got your ticket for it yet, it's at Heaven this Saturday. I'll be putting the link in the chat as we go along. He's also played at Moondance, where I saw him play recently, and the 338 and a whole load of other things. I've seen this man play live 7 times in the last 2 years. And every time he's on the lineup, I always make sure I'm on the dance floor, down the front and centre, because I know he's going to play at least 50 to 60% of his set I'm going to know and I'm going to want to dance to. So without any further ado, we have SLIPMATT in the house. Thank you so much, mate, for giving up your time and coming in.
That's cool.
I hope that was a suitable introduction for the man known as the Godfather of Rave.
Very nice indeed.
I'm going to ask you some quick fire questions, and then I'm going to ask you about that title in a second. But as you know, I work in the film industry predominantly. So the first question I always ask my guests is, what was the first movie that you saw at the cinema as a kid, if you can remember?
It would either have been, it's a long time ago.
Yeah, for me too.
The first one I really remember, like properly, was Jaws. I think the first Jaws.
Yeah,
mum and dad took me to see that. I was only young. It must have been like a PG or something. I can't remember now.
No, it was. Do you remember jumping out of your seat when the body with the eyeball hanging out?
Oh, yeah. Out
at the bottom of the boat. Oh my God, what a scare that was!
That's probably one of the scariest bits of the film. So there was that. And I'm sure I went to see one of the big early James Bond films as well. Again, like we
probably would have been The Spy Loved Me around that time.
Might be Live and Let Die.
Yeah,
I'm not sure what year that was.
That had a re-release as a double bill with The Man with the Golden Gun around the same time as Jaws came out.
Yeah, I'm not really a film buff, I'll be honest. But
that's all right, mate. That's my area. This is the last film question of the day. What was the last movie that you went to see at the cinema? Last time you paid to go and see something? That still have been Jaws in 1970s.
James Bond.
Was it No Time to Die?
No, I don't know actually. I haven't been to the cinema for years. I've probably been to the theatre more in the last 10 years than the cinema. I haven't been there.
Right, okay.
I'm really not a film buff, but
no, that's fine. No worries. Okay, well let's a couple of other more music quick fire questions. Can you remember the first vinyl single you bought?
The first?
I
can, yeah. I can.
What was it?
I was 4 years old. And it was Clover Rogers' Jack in the Box.
Okay.
Which is really commercial and
yeah.
I think it was the said this before. I'm pretty sure it was the Eurovision Song Contest winner for that year, something like that. But I was only 4 years old, so got to give me a bit of slack on that.
Well, we'll let you off. What was the last vinyl?
Well, the first 12-inch track I bought, I could tell you those actually, which were not necessarily cooler, but it was Brown Girl in the Ring, Boney M. With Rivers of Babylon on the other side, and that was like, I remember that it was in the 70s, and I remember that being one of the first sort of 12-inch records that come out. Maybe, I don't know, that's what it seemed like to me at the time, but I was only
memory recalls, because there's only a couple of years between us. I recall that was number one for quite a while, wasn't it? Brown Girl in the Ring.
I think so. It was
certainly up there.
Big tune, but I remember I'm sure it was on WA Records, I think. But I remember I could picture the.
But what about first vinyl album that you ever got?
First vinyl album, blimey, probably could have even been like an old Elvis album. I mean, I was buying records at a very young age.
Right.
My mum and dad were into like the Beatles and stuff like that.
Did you inherit some albums off your parents as well?
I used to listen to the Beatles like every day for a couple of years. I think a couple of their albums.
You got a favourite Beatles track?
There's a load actually. Do you know what? I still flick it on now and again in the car if I'm a bit bored of what I'm listening to. I want something a bit different. I really do enjoy that. Yeah, I really do. Favourite tune. I like the really early stuff, like the 1963, 1964.
Right.
1994 I was born. But but
I think mine would probably be Eleanor Rigby and Twist and Shout. I mean, polar opposite songs, but like both great.
I like From Me to You and She Loves You and those sort of tracks.
Yeah.
The first import 12-inch that I bought was Sylvester, You Make Me Feel.
Oh yeah,
1978. So I would have been 10 or 11.
I was dancing to that in a club a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
So I go to an 80s night once a month, and they play all of that.
It's a legendary tune, isn't it? And the first album, bar sort of being a kid and being into that's like way back. But the first sort of really what I would call the first sort of cool album. Probably, I just remember back to the era of Madness and the Specials and the Selector, the whole two-tone thing. I was very big on. There might have been like a few soundtracks like Saturday Night Fever. That was what 1978 or something. That might have been just before. But the one that really stands out is Signing Off, UB40.
Okay.
That was my sort of entry.
Footloose album?
I didn't have that, no.
Might have been a bit too poppy.
Yeah, maybe. I was sort of quite underground. By the time I was sort of 10, 11 years old, I was really into the underground stuff. I got into reggae through UB40 and then quickly moved over to all the Jamaican stuff. I used to listen to Rodigan like every week and record it every week. Got into sort of dub music like Scientist and your King Tubby.
So you were Essex born, so you grew up east of London. Is that where you had your childhood as well?
Yeah, so my family are all from Walthamstow, both sides, mum and dad. So sort of East London. I mean, Walthamstow used to be Essex, like if you go way back.
Yeah.
But East London. My mum and dad, when they got married, they moved to Hackney and lived there for quite a few years. I've got two brothers and a sister. They were all born in Hackney. So sort of very much London as well. And then they moved out to Essex, I think, the year before I was born. So I grew up in a place called Loughton in Essex.
Yeah, no, I'm very familiar with all around there. So did you have a first club that you went to, not as a DJ? Did you have a first club that you went to just as a punter?
Yeah. Oscars in I was going to say Clacton then. Oscars in Ilford, which isn't there anymore. I think years and years ago they turned it into a McDonald's. Actually, I think it's still McDonald's. But yeah, Oscars. I was only 14, I was quite tall for a 14-year-old, and I used to go knock around with my older brother, who would have been 17, 18 at the time. And I used to get in the clubs, most of them, bar a couple of times. 14.
Was it Newbury Park? Is that the one we're talking about?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
I've just found it. I think also somebody's put a picture of it up on Facebook. Let me show you quickly. I think it's this one. Is that right?
Yeah, that looks like it. Yeah, that is
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's now McDonald's.
Long time ago.
Yeah, because
44 years ago. There you go.
Went through many name changes and Seven Kings at one point, I think.
No, there was another club called Kings, which was in Seven Kings, which is just down the road from there.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oscars, and then from there, sort of over the next few years, we used to go to places like Whispers in Harlow, I'm in Harlow now. Billy Jean's in Epping was another one, but we used to go up to Ritzy and Tottenham was our sort of usual sort of haunt, I think.
So would this have been when you first started going when you were 14? Would this have still been the era of, two girls kick off the dance floor by putting their handbags in the middle and dancing around them, and chinos and shirts and smart shoes and all of that?
Yeah. We used to have painted shoes. I even had a perm at one point.
You had a perm
at one point, yeah.
Oh, I wish I had some sort of computer graphic element where we could put that on your head right now just to see what that would have looked like.
It was sort of baggy trousers for a while, silky shirts and stuff. That was like the early to mid 80s.
So when
soul music and that.
When did you sense that? Because you were into sort of like the less commercial stuff from the get-go, by the sounds of it. You had your ear in a lot of pies musically. When was the moment you sort of sensed the rave theme was coming, and how did you end up being at the forefront of that quite early on?
Well, all through that sort of soul era, through the 80s and stuff, we were into the real sort of underground sort of music as well. We ended up from going to the sort of clubs like the Ritzy and all those really sort of glitzy sort of clubs. We ended up going to places like the Wag in the West End, which was a lot sort of trendier and cooler. That would have been sort of probably around 86 when house music come about, and then since house music was there, that was it. We've fell in love with it totally. So that would have been 86, and then into 87 it was like house. Thinking back, it was like a mixture of the house thing was starting to blow up, the Chicago sound, and then 87 was sort of acid house, and then you had things like tracks like Pump Up the Volume, Miles, and things like that. I used to work with CJ McIntosh's brother, actually. CJ McIntosh and was it Dave Durrell were Miles, and when he was number one with that, I was actually working with Chris McIntosh's brother Lawrence in a place up in Tottenham Court Road.
So it sounds like the jump from you kind of being interested in this thing to already being working semi-professional to then professional was quite organic and quite quick, because you were so into it. You were already meeting key people, and is that fair to say how that happened? It was quite organic. Yeah,
like I was saying, that clubbing thing sort of flipped in within a couple of years, I suppose. It went from soul music into sort of house, and that transition through Rare Groove was a big thing as well. All that sort of James Brownie sort of sound. Hip hop became big.
Yeah.
And that got me into doing all the DMC stuff. So I got myself involved in doing a DMC competition for a couple of years which was really good. I never got that far with it, but managed to get through to the evening heats alongside Cole Cox and Hype and Pogo, people like that, which was really cool. Looking back,
do you remember your first DJ gig when you're behind the decks?
My first, I always say this as well. My first DJ gig was in junior school when I was 10. I took my dad's record player.
What about your first one where money exchanged hands? It was a professional paycheck.
Probably it would have been late 80s. I can't remember exactly where. I mean, me and Lion, we used to do a few bars and places, sort of here and there, like local stuff. We were joking about it at the weekend. Actually, we were saying we used to do a place called the Dunmo Inn, which is out in Essex. We used to do that for a little while, and we were saying probably used to get like a tenner or 15 quid or something for doing that. That was pre-rave, sort of being a rave DJ.
How did you meet DJ Lime? Because that was kind of your first.
We were at school
collaboration. Okay, so you were together.
We knew each other known each other since we was about 12. Yeah, and we were the two boys in our class that were into the underground music. He veered a little bit more towards the electro sounds, but still all the sort of undergroundy dance, real electronic dance,
right?
Stuff, yeah.
So you were kind of going around as a duo a little bit at the beginning.
Yeah. We were very good friends. We've been best mates now for since then. And it was us two. Yeah. We put on a party. We actually put on our own party. I think it must have been 1988. I think 87 or 88. We put a party on at the Epping Forest Country Club, which is
I've had talk about that place before.
Yeah, which is next to Loughton. Quite a well-known gaff from years gone by. It's still open now, actually, under a different name. We sold tickets to all our sort of mates in the area and our old school mates and stuff like that. And
so you and DJ Lime, you formed SL2.
Yep.
That was when was that? Sort of late 80s.
I think it would have been. We were tinkering around with stuff sort of in the late 80s. Yeah, I used to have a couple of reel-to-reels at home and stuff, luckily that my dad had been given. So I was always tinkering around, editing bits and pieces and stuff. And then we was trying to work this out actually at the weekend as well. I was having a good old catch up, and I think it was probably late 88 we did our first studio session, which was at Noisegate Studio, which was with Double Trouble, which was the late Michael Menson, and then Lee Guest, who's still around, and then Aston from Freestylers became part of that team as well. So I think that was like late 88 at the very latest, early 89, but I'm sure it's late 88. We managed to get our first track out in 89.
Yeah, because I mean, you were one of the first groups, for want of a better word, that charted a dance hit in the UK from a UK sort of homegrown source. I mean, you're up there very early on. I don't know if you were the very first, but you were certainly one of the first.
There was. I mean, we didn't actually chart till 1991, but so there was a lot of others first, but we were sort of one of the first in that sort of new era of sort of breakbeaty sort of hardcore. What was termed hardcore back then.
And on a ragga tip, I mean, that was a pretty big tune.
It's huge, yeah.
Yeah, and Candy. I've never seen Lance on this early. Yeah, and one of my other moderators, I toured with Carl Cox. I was a VIP at Cream at Liverpool. You must have played at Cream, I'm guessing.
I've never played Cream actually. I used to play with Carl all the time back in, from sort of, I suppose, 88, 89 to probably about 94. He then went off and did his techno thing and took over the world.
Right, yeah.
I was sort of pretty good mates with Carl back then. Not that I'm not now, but I don't really see him a lot these days.
Well, you know, I'm sure if you went and visited his super club in Ibiza, you'd probably get a VIP pass.
Yeah, I'm sure I would. Yeah, I didn't make it out there actually. I wanted to go to Universe this year, but just didn't get the time to get out there.
You didn't get to see it. Okay, I'm going to come back to that in a bit.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I could talk about the early days of the rave scene, you know, all day with you, but I don't want to spend too much time on that. But suffice to say, you were there at the beginning. You were also there at the first sort of underground raves. Have you got a specific memory of a particular event through those early years? So we're talking 89 to 92. Have you got one specific memory of one specific event where you went, wow, this is going to be big. This is changing. This is going to be something. This is going to be huge.
I don't know about this is going to be huge, but my first event, what I say was my first proper rave gig was the first Raindance.
Right.
I was doing other bits and pieces, but that I class that as my first proper sort of rave event, because it was an outdoor event in a field in a tent. It was a proper rave. It was actually legal as well, even though they'd probably say it weren't. It wasn't fully legal anyway.
Was this back in the day before Richard was involved in it?
Yeah, 16th of September 1989. So like I said, I was doing other bits before that. We had a pirate, me and Lyman, a few other friends at the pirate station running from Hackney Wick months before that and that as well. So we were well involved in stuff. We had our tune out before that as well.
What kind of numbers were we talking at that event?
I reckon it was a long party, so it didn't actually get going until sort of after midnight on Saturday nights into Sunday morning. But it went on until like 2 a.m. Monday morning. So over that couple of days, there's probably a good couple of thousand people went through, I think.
Were you there the whole time?
No, I think I must have gone home. I think it actually stopped for a couple of hours on the Sunday afternoon. There was a boot sale going on the same field. And basically, one of the organisers, who was actually caretaker of the Jenkins Lane site, he said, "Look, we're going to have to turn it off for a couple of hours just to let these people get on with their boot sale." It's like literally only 2 or 3 hours. They just stopped the music. Everyone had a chill. Not everyone went home, and then we just cracked on again Sunday night into Monday morning.
Yeah, that must have been quite surreal. You must have had all these cars turning up with people unloading goods and
and then putting out their boot sale stalls and stuff, and there's people still dancing around, and
yeah, I can imagine that was probably quite surreal. But
very
so okay, so and that, I think that was considered to be, wasn't that the first legal all-nighter?
Well, right. No. So they did that. They had a barrister on. It was my brother's. It wasn't Richard. Wasn't part. I think Richard was there, but he wasn't part of that organisation. It was my brother.
You're talking about your brother Paul.
Paul,
who was involved in promoting it. Yeah.
So they had a barrister with them, and like I said, it wasn't totally illegal. I suppose it wasn't fully legal though. So the barrister who managed to get rid of the old bill on the night, because I think they hadn't brought in all the laws that stand now. I think it was 1990 they brought in the big laws and stuff, wasn't it? So they did another one in November '89, which then got shut down. Actually, the police come in and actually shut it down. And then the one after that, which would have been early 1990, was the first actual legal one. My brother put a lot of work and effort into it and managed to get a license. I've actually
found that if you Google it and you have a look, although the site that appears to link it appears to be down, there's a copy of that flyer online. Look, the yellow one on the right there.
Yeah, that's the first one. Yeah, 16th of September.
Yeah. Interesting.
It says, I think it says that. Yeah, it says on there totally legal, but
borderline.
It's a rave, wasn't it? 1989. Come on.
So yeah, just to remind people that you can catch SLIPMATT doing his thing this Saturday at Heaven, where the latest RAINDANCE reunion.
It's actually their rather late. Was Richard always calls it the rather late birthday party or something like that. But it's
what do you know? What time you're going on?
I shall be there 6:30 in the Jenkins Lane Arena.
Okay, great.
And then I'm doing last set in the main arena.
Oh God, are you? I'll make sure I make the first one. Whether I'll still be standing by the last one, as I've been fighting off a horrible bug, but I'll definitely see you play with 6:30. So I want to talk about the scene a little bit now, as the day rave scene. But before we get onto that, let's talk about Ibiza, because you casually dropped in that you've played there about 500 times. So you must have been there.
Might be a bit exaggerated, but it's a lot, yeah. It's a lot.
You must have been there near the beginning of the explosion of the music scene there. You must have played there near then, or certainly gone there as a punter.
Yeah, I didn't go there till 94, actually.
Well, that's still pretty early.
Still pretty early, but Liam and a few of my other mates were there, over there in 1990, I think. Went over DJing and stuff. But,
and obviously, it's... I've had a few friends go recently, and those people that have just gone over, not at any particular time nor for any particular event, because we'll talk about Slip Back in Time in a sec, but they've just gone over to see what it's like, and the reports have not been good. I'll be honest. You know, I mean, I don't really want to go somewhere where I've got to pay 16 euros for a bottle of water, and then not even be able to refill it once I've drunk it, whether I'm going sober or not. And then I've also, you know, you've got a very different energy from the young crowd that are there now. It's a very different energy from, let's say, the London day rave crowd.
Yeah.
Now, would that be part of the reason that Slip Back in Time came about, which is that's very much your event out there, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, no, it is.
Tell us about that and how and why that came about.
It's something that, I mean, I've been playing old school over in Ibiza for, I mean, you know, since I started going there, I've never really stopped doing the old school thing, as well as playing new music. But back in 2000, it was we just sort of come up with the name Slip Back in Time, because I was doing these old school nights, and it was like, oh yeah, we're gonna Slip Back in Time, and the name just sort of stuck, and we've done tons of events over the years. But the whole sort of concept behind what we're doing now with our holiday rave is the fact that we're going slipping back in time with the culture as well, more than just the music. You know, we still play a lot of new music at our parties.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of new house music. I don't want to just play same old tunes over and over. It's nice to hear those tunes, but you don't want a whole week of just the same.
No, sure.
Yeah, same sort of playlist of old classics. So it's more, for me, it's more about the culture. And what we do is we've got two hotels that sit next to each other. They're linked. They both use the same big restaurant and all the same bars and all that. So it's like one big hotel, really.
Mm.
And we keep everyone together. Everyone gets to know each other. But we've really, for me, I think we've really captured that 90s sort of culture. You know, not everyone's going around on their phones. It's a much older crowd as well. It's, you know,
Yeah.
The age is probably, dare I say, it's probably about 50 now, actually. There's still a lot of younger people, but not many sort of under 30, I don't think, really. And we're all inclusive at our hotels, so you don't spend any money during the day. I don't even put any money in my pocket during the day until I go out at night. Not all of our venues. Some of the venues are fairly expensive. They're not the most expensive on the island, but some of our venues are really quite affordable as well, like drink-wise I'm talking about, bar-wise.
Sure.
Quite affordable. We're not we're not doing that VIP culture. We're not trying to make it. We're trying to keep that culture like it was back in the 90s.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways, you know. And it works, and it definitely works for us. We've been sold out the last couple of years. We're almost sold out, but we're not far off selling out for next year. And people seem to love the vibe that we've got. It's like super friendly.
Well, I mean, Ibiza's. I've never been to Ibiza. It's been on my bucket list for years, and it just, for whatever reason, it just never happened. And if I come, it's going to be to this.
Yeah, I mean, Paradise hasn't really changed that much over the years. It's still as beautiful as it was back in the day. You know, once you're in there with our crowd and stuff, you could be back in 1994. You know,
right? Yeah, because I had some friends that went to Ibiza recently. These are regular clubbing buddies of mine, so I know what they like and what they don't. And they went to the Super Club that we talked about earlier, where Carl Cox has got the residency.
Yeah.
And they said that they absolutely hated it. They said they were squashed all the time. And at one point, they sort of danced against the wall, and there were still people trying to push past them. And it was a couple, and she had to turn around and say to one guy, "Where do you exactly want me to go? You know, because I can't move anywhere. You're trying to push me in further into the wall. I'm already pressed up against the wall." And sorry. And the sort of younger crowd that go to venues like that have got no sort of rave etiquette whatsoever.
Like I was saying, the culture is a bit different. And we've sort of captured that with our thing. I mean, I used to go. It used to be privileged, didn't it? And then coup before that, I used to go to Manumission back through the 90s, and that was always great. That was always really good. But yeah, like I was saying, we don't really want to do that VIP culture.
No, exactly.
There's no pretentiousness or anything. Everyone's sort of, you know, on the same level. We don't really have people showing off, and it's not, you know, blingy or anything. It's, you know, it's not all.
So if someone books to go to Slip Back in Time, you're paying for the hotels, but you've got the price includes the stay at the hotel, but you've got to get your own flight. Is that right?
Get your own flight, which if you're clever with it, you can get a flight easy for like £100 return if you wait for the right time.
Right.
But yeah, the hotel, so you get all inclusive. So that's all your drinks from 10 in the morning till 11 o'clock at night. Bars are all open. As much as you like. There's no restrictions at all either. And actually, because it's all there and it's free and everything, there's no rush to go and tank yourself up. So we don't have loads of pissheads all day or aggro. No, everything's super friendly. You've got breakfast, lunch, dinner, all buffet menus. Food's okay. It's nice. Snacks all day. Like I said, I don't even take any money out with me. You know.
I know this girl. This is Kelly.
There's
a picture of me and her together in my rave book.
All right.
Funnily enough, and she's always got a Batman thing going on.
Batgirl, yeah.
She's a right good egg. She is. I love her to bits.
And then just to say, you get entry to all the club nights, like every night of the week as well. So you don't have to pay to get in anywhere. The only thing we charge for is the boat party, because not everyone wants to go on the boat. Boat's really good, but not everyone wants to go on. So that's the only thing. And then you got to pay for your drinks at night, obviously. But
how do you choose the? There's Vicky. I've interviewed Vicky on this channel.
Vicky does loads with us as well. She comes and does other gigs with us as well. Yeah.
She's such an amazing energy. I love her a bit. She's amazing. The good old Chalky. How do you choose the DJ lineup for this each year?
It's not easy.
No, I can imagine. And with you being the top dog, so to speak, you know, the buck end's there. I mean, you've got so many slots. You'll have some regulars that you'll bring back who, you know, bring a certain caliber or whatever. But
Yeah,
how do you pick those lower down?
Well, so we've been doing this for quite a few years now. So I've actually been programming the DJs for probably 10 or 12 years now, for if I include other ones that I've been doing it for. But so we've built up a really good sort of family of our main DJs, and then we just try and keep it a little bit fresh sort of every year and bring in some, you know, just a few new people. It is really tricky because we've only got a certain amount of hours, and there's so many people that I'd love to come and play, you know, even just some people just to give them a chance, like, you know, DJs. Yeah, I know we're really good. I know we're really good, and just to give them a chance, but it's really, really, really tricky. It's not just down to me; it's down to our team. So,
because are you a believer in sort of like doing that thing where you look back down the ladder and try and pull somebody else up that maybe you see that the talent and the passion that they have that you've got?
Most definitely. Yeah, it's not all about big names and stuff, you know. I wouldn't pick a big name just for the name anyway.
Sure.
It's got to be, you know, we'll only pick DJs that we think, that we're sure that will work as well. It's a little bit of a pet hate of mine that, you know, people will actually book DJs that they've never even heard before. Some of these promoters, it's like, why would you do that? You know, it's got to be right for. I take a lot of pride in trying to get the music and the programming right for our people. But yeah, like at the same time, it's so tough. And once you've started booking people for a few years as well, you can't have the same DJs every year, and it's like really hard to say no as well.
Yeah, no, understandably so.
Yeah.
So going back to the London day rave scene, which is, I think it's great what's happened with it. I mean, apart from the fact that it suits me down to a T, because I'm not sure I would have re-embraced the rave scene if I had to go out again till 4 o'clock in the morning or silly o'clock or whatever.
I mean, some of these clubs back in the day I was up in Mansfield on last Saturday, and I was saying to the others, I used to do a thing called Vibe Light up there, which I'm sure a lot of people listening will know. And that was open till like 8 o'clock in the morning, like every week. Whether it was Vibe Light every week, I can't remember now, but the club was open. It was venue 44. I'm sure it was like 8 o'clock every week. It might have even been on a Friday and a Saturday. It's like, shit, man.
Well, I mean, you know, that's fine if you're all in your 20s, I suppose. But
exactly, yeah.
For me, it's great to be able to go to a venue that opens sometime between 12 and 2 and shuts sometime between 9 and 11, because there's also time for that a little post-rave drink down the pub before the pub shuts afterwards, where we can all have a gas, and you're back home by midnight. You know, it's great. Love it.
Yeah, no, I must admit, I've warmed to the day thing, and then if you want to carry on after, if you do want to carry on and have a few more drinks and that after, at least you're not then going through the next day. Do you know what I mean?
No.
You're just going into the night a little bit, and you can still get up the next day.
Yeah, function, and I think it's also it's rejuvenated the club landscape, particularly in London, because there was a lot of clubs there's a lot of clubs that have closed, as we know, and there were a lot of clubs that were close to closing because financially they weren't taking in the money, because young people just aren't going out the way we used to go out when you and I were.
It's a different culture, isn't it? That's
very different. Yeah. And they're not taking that money, and suddenly the day rave scene comes along, and, you know, if they put the right event on, the right brand, they're packing them out. There's 4 of them to choose from pretty much most weekends.
Well, a lot of the venues, like your like Ministry and Koko and places like that, they're doing a day rave, shutting at 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock. And and that's, I'm sure they do it as well. Shut at 9 or 10, and then within an hour they're open again all night.
Yeah.
So they're having it off. Some of the sort of bigger venues, some of the good venues.
I know. I mean, I came out of Hello Rave. You know, we were coming out one door, and then there was a queue of all these youngsters coming in the other door, and they were shutting off bits of the club and letting them into other bits of the club. While it was literally one in, one out almost.
Yeah.
But it is a great scene, and I mean that's how I got to see you play live 7 times. I've seen you twice at Koko, once at 338, and I think once at Ministry and a couple of other places. Have you got a favourite London venue to play?
I mean, Coco's always been a favourite. Camden Palace,
isn't it?
Yeah, I mean that was an early one that I went to. I was up there in 1988. I mean, I think when Chris Paul was like resident, it was a lot more commercial then. So Coco's always good. I like Ministry. Not played there as Coco's the one I've been to the most, I suppose. I like 338. 338's got a good feel to it. It's not.
Did you play any of the early Orange parties at Koko in the early 90s?
Do you know what? I don't actually remember. I must have played there for Orange. The biggest one I remember with Orange was Hippodrome.
Right.
But that's the one that sticks in my head because that used to start. Again, that was another different one. That used to start in the morning and then go through to the afternoon, didn't it? As far as I can remember.
Right.
Yeah, the Hippodrome.
I never did that one, sadly.
Yeah, that was like. I think last time I played there was like 11 o'clock in the morning or something like that. I don't know. It's going a long way back. It probably would have been 92 or something.
Because when you played at 338, I think that was which was the Summer Shakedown, the Rave Days guys. Yeah. I mean, it was a bit too. I'll be honest, it was a bit too busy, that party. It got to the point where there was no room to dance anywhere. So I left probably not that long after you played, but I was right down the front, slightly to your right when you played. And it was the first time that I'd seen you play where I spent most of the time watching you as you were DJing rather than just dancing and listening to the tunes you were dropping, because I knew I wanted to interview you, and I thought I'm going to watch this guy and how you know, because different DJs do different things when they're playing sets.
Yeah, and
you were proper into it. It was almost, I don't want to say like it was a choreographed performance, because it was completely
not choreographed.
No, it was completely authentic and organic. But you were very much in it. Like I said to you yesterday, it was almost like you were a composer of your own orchestra.
I do get into it. Yeah, it's like everyone moans that the monitor's too loud. But I always say, but I want to get in.
You could really see
I want to feel it. Do you know what I mean?
You could really see your passion and your love for it.
Yeah. Don't just go through the movements. It's like, I want to feel it.
I saw that before at Koko as well, because I'm always down the front in the middle if I can. But this time I really watched you, and I mean, you were really in it. And that was great. And I think that's one of the things, I think because you're so passionate about it and you clearly love it so much. I think with any DJ that exhibits that energy when they play, it also completely flows naturally through the music as well. And it just makes the whole thing so much better. You know, you're really connecting with the crowd in front of you. So on that note, to what degree are your sets organic, and to what degree are they a preordained thing on a stick? You know, how flexible do you keep that?
Yeah, very. I'll always do I'll nearly always do a playlist for each gig. So I suppose just that in a way, I'm always trying to update what I'm doing for each event. So it's not like, that'll do for a month and just play the same. It's not like that for me. No, if I'm out busy on the Friday and then I've got another couple of gigs on the Saturday, I'll download, see what's there to download and go through it and then move things around on my playlist. But some of my most enjoyable sets are where I flick between different playlists and really get stuck into, what's on the stick, and not just go through a playlist like that one. You know, I really do enjoy to mix up. I'm very organised, and it's always good to know what's going to go with what. I like to mix in key these days and stuff as well. I think that's quite important in this day and age. It sounds a lot better anyway to me.
One of the things I've always wanted to ask one of my DJ guests, and I keep forgetting to ask this question because I'm not familiar with the new, you know, one day we had 2 vinyl decks and now we have these, whatever you want to call it, big sort of electronic module things that have got cool lights and all the rest of it. But different DJs don't bring their own rig with them. You're basically arriving at a venue and using the setup that's in front of you, right?
Yeah.
So how challenging is that to go from one different venue to another where they're all using, you know, because 2 turntables at the end of the day, whether they're Technics or whatever, were 2 turntables.
We have a tech rider though these days.
You have a tech
tech rider, yeah. So even back in
that's the guy that
no. So we tell the promoter what we want to use.
Okay.
We either do that or they tell us what we've got there, and it's like, is that okay? And it's like, normally, yeah, that's fine.
So you've got the spec ahead of time.
No, pretty normally, yeah.
Right.
9 times out of 10, and it's pretty much industry standard. So these days, most decent venues are using CDJ 3000s, which is the latest. There's an X out now as well. I haven't seen them yet, but the CDJ 3000s, which are pretty much industry standard. If they haven't got the 3000s, they'll normally have the 2000 NXS2, which is the one before that, which is still, that's absolutely fine by me. And I'm sure.
Do you have one of those at home as well?
I don't actually have separate decks. I always used to, but I've just got a controller at home. I don't need to have a load of separate stuff.
Right.
It's more of a pain in the arse than anything. I've got the latest controller. I've got the XDJ AZ, which is the latest one, which is based on the CDJ 3000s and the latest A9 mixer. So there's a few bits that are in slightly different places, but other than that, it's the same. It's the same sort of gubbins inside.
So when you do the handover and you're taking over from the guy or girl before you, there's always that little conversation that we as the punters, we're down the front doing our thing, and we always see you have that little conversation, and there's always a little bit of pointing and yeah, see this thing here, you want to just keep an eye on that. Tell us about one of them conversations. What happens there?
It's probably normally, what have you played? If you haven't been sort of hanging around for too long, what have you played? Have you played this? Have you played that? Sometimes I'll move the. I use a crossfader, and I catch people out sometimes. They'll go on and they won't realise the crossfader's been on, like nothing's coming out. So you might be like, oh, no, crossfader, and switch it off or let them know. Just general stuff like that, really. Yeah.
Well, I've noticed you're normally in about half hour before the person that you're
not always.
I
always try and get there at least half hour before and see what they do. It's not always possible. And then sometimes if it's a very different DJ to what I am, you know they're not going to play any of the same stuff anyway.
What's the biggest like technical gaffe, or it might not even have been a technical thing? What's been the biggest challenge at any one gig you
over the years?
Yeah, whether it's been suddenly a massive fight broken out in front of the decks, or whether the speakers have all blown, or whatever it might have been.
Yeah, I've had the decks cut out when CDJs first sort of started appearing. They were some of them were quite unreliable, so the tune would just stop.
Right.
You know? I mean, in the vinyl days, even at some of the big parties, probably more at the big parties actually, like your Helter Skelters and Dreamscapes, you'd have the dancers jumping around on the stage, and then the needle was going to go and start jumping across the record. That used to happen loads. What else? I went for a stage actually in the 90s. I always seem to get the set where someone would pass out and fall over, and then you'd have to turn the music off, and someone would come in and take them away.
Right.
Not very many fights really, because we're talking a rave scene. We don't fight. But
yeah,
now and again, I'll tell you one thing I did have once.
Yeah, go on.
A club called Milwaukee's, which was up near Bedford, and
why would you not call a club called Milwaukee's when it's in Bedford? I love that.
Yeah. And it was vinyl at the time, so I'm getting pissed out of his head. Sort of leant over. I don't know what he was. I think he was trying to ask me for a tune or something, and he actually ended up putting his beer glass on top of the record that was playing.
No,
so far, and it sort of, and I luckily managed to get it off and get him away. So that was quite an amusing one looking back. But yeah, loads of stuff like that. Yeah.
So with you being, I don't know if you're married with kids or.
I've been married years and years ago. I'm very happy with my Rachel. We've both got kids, so we've got 3 between us. Yeah.
How do you? One of the most difficult things in our professions, doesn't matter what creative profession you're in, whether you're an actor, writer, producer, music producer, top of the line DJ, like yourself. One of the most difficult things to get right in life is that work-life balance.
Yeah.
And I had film producer Gail Ann Hurd on here, who produced, even though you said you're not a film guy, I'm sure you've heard of Terminator.
Yes.
And Terminator 2 and
Aliens. I'm not anti-film, but yeah, just...
Yeah. And she currently produces the entire Walking Dead franchise. So she's been one of the biggest guests I've had on this show. And I asked her this same question. I said, so Gail, what's the secret to work-life balance? And she said, well, don't ask me that. I've been married and divorced 4 times. So, but I mean, how do you, I didn't know what your situation is. So your partner's Rachel. How do you manage your time? How do you make all that work?
We work together anyway. So we're partners in the business in a way.
Right.
She looks after the gigs and stuff with me, and she keeps me organised as well. But
she's the person on the phone that says to other people, he's not available on that date, that kind of thing.
Yeah, we both do a bit of it, but she keeps everything organised. So she speaks to the promoters and that more than I do, and she's very organised, which is a bonus, which is actually really, really cool. But we both. I've had those problems in the past, not badly. I think when I first started DJing, that was a challenge at the time, work and family life. But certainly with Rachel, it's we both like our own space. We both like our own time. We both neither of us mind being on our own for a bit. We're happy to not be in each other's pockets all the time as well. So it works out really cool. And she comes out with me. She comes out with me most of the time anyway. And if she doesn't feel like it, then she won't. I'm happy to sit in the car for hours and hours. Drive. I
think I did see her at one of your gigs actually, because there was a lady with you at one of your gigs.
Yeah, she's often out with me. Yeah, most of the time I'd say. Yeah. So yeah, fortunate. Maybe that's why we've been together 17 years now. So maybe that's why we've lasted so long.
I think maybe
we've got a good understanding.
Yeah, I mean, you've got a bit of a golden ticket there, because if you've got a partner that is both supportive of your work and also has a hand in it as and when they can, but also at the same time gives you your own space. There's probably guys watching this going, bloody hell, why can't I find one of them?
Exactly, and that's probably why we're still together. But even at home, so we work from home all week, like doing stuff and that. But some days we don't really see each other that much. She's got her own space and her own desk and
sure.
Stuff enough. And she's off up the gym today, and we just do our own thing, and we make if we really sort of feel that we need to spend a bit more time together, we will do. We're both very understanding there.
Music is such an embedded part of your life. I don't think you'd be able to be with a partner that you couldn't at least share part of that with, really, could you? I don't think it would work.
No, I do a lot of hours. I do.
Yeah.
I probably do at least 70 or 80 hours a week, and then on a busy week, on a week with a busy weekend, it's sometimes a lot more than that. Do work very, very, very hard.
Al, who's in the chat currently watching, says, me and my mates were big into the rave scene, mid-90s. Seen SLIPMATT play a few times. Always plays a belter.
Thank you very much, yeah.
Mate, he's still playing now. You want to get out on the day rave scene, mate, and I
play a lot more new music now. I play a lot more new music, which I needed to do. I changed that up in around 2017. Sort of like that. That's when I started my Slips House podcast and stuff as well.
Before we begin to wrap up, because I'm just conscious of the time, so we're nearly at the hour. One thing I do want to talk about is music, raving, and mental health. Because, as you know, I've also got a book out about raving, which I'll plug briefly, because I should plug it more. There we go. Back to Raving at 50. And that's the trance cover. So that's a trance event at Koko on the cover of the hardback. And the softback's got a house cover. And, I mean, it's my story, but nevertheless, my story very much is about how going back to raving and music in general has been this sort of massive positive injection for my mental health and well-being. Part of that's been all the new friends that I've made, but just going out and dancing when I can, which is three day raves a month at minimum, I would say. And at each of them, I'm dancing for about 6 hours. Whenever I can, it's on the stage, because I did a bit of that when I was younger and my mum was a choreographer. So this has brought my confidence back, all kinds of things. And I'm dancing with people around my own age, so I don't feel self-conscious at all. It's been a lifesaver, frankly. But when you come back from a day rave, sober or not, there's that horrible moment when you come home. And difficult for me at the minute, particularly because I've not long gone through a divorce. And, you're sort of coming back to an empty house and stuff like that. Now, I not long read Carl Cox's autobiography. Very good autobiography, incidentally. And one of the things he said in that is, he said one of the most difficult things for a DJ, and I want to hear your take on this, is going and having this amazing connection, this amazing experience. You're really in there, you're in with the music, and then it's this extreme change. You go home, boom, and you're in that very different environment. It's that massive mental switch. How do you find that? Is that a challenge?
To be honest with you, I don't think it is for me. No, it reminds me of a bit like what the comedians say, isn't it? When everyone's laughing at them, it's like one extreme to the other. They can make everyone laugh, and then the next minute they're not getting any attention at all. But no, I'm sort of really happy in my own skin. I think I quite like the thought of. I'm not saying I don't like the attention. It's obviously pleasant, it's nice. And I really appreciate people, and I love the bars of it and everything. But I also love it when I get home and I can just relax and do my own thing. I suppose I always come home at the weekend with ideas of what I can do in the studio for the next week and stuff like that. So that excites me.
What are your other hobbies outside of the music? You got any others? You go horse riding or?
Nah, I don't do it. I don't do a lot. I go to the gym a couple of times a week, which is also very good for mental health. Very much so. And I've sort of really noticed that. I go for a walk every day I'm not at the gym. I don't do it every day because I'm always busy, but I try and go for at least an hour's walk.
Yeah.
When I'm not at the gym, and again, that it
Also.
always, you know, if I'm sitting at my desk like I'm here, or whatever, and it's really busy, things are challenging or whatever, it's always nice to just get up and go, right, hour's walk, stick something on in my earphones, something positive, and have a walk. It always makes me feel better. And probably the whole like you're saying, getting back to raving, the whole dancing for 6 hours thing is so good mentally. Do you still go
dancing? Do you still go dancing as well?
I wouldn't say I go dancing. I don't mind a little dance about, but I don't really go out dancing.
Yeah.
These days, but I never have really. I've always been the other side of it. I say never. I used to go out dancing when I was a teenager. Obviously, I was quite a big clubber, and I don't not.
I've seen you have a little bop.
Yeah, I have a little boogie. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. I'm also very much into like nutrition and stuff as well, and I think that's a big thing for mental health as well, is what you eat. But that's another thing. That's a bit of a hobby of mine, nutrition and health and stuff.
Right.
But yeah, apart from that, I'm pretty much sort of work orientated. I like going away, and I like getting a bit of sunshine, and you know, I like to spend a bit of time with my mates.
Do you have a favourite part of the world that you or place that you like to holiday?
I go to Spain a fair bit, so I've got a couple of really sort of good groups of friends in Spain. One set over in Javier, lots of good friends over in Ibiza. Still got my mate Phil and Claude that live over there, and we go and stay with them quite a bit, which is really nice because it means we can sort of go. They're lovely friends, they're really close friends, but it means we can get over there a fair bit as well, which is great. We've got a family place over in Spain as well.
Nice.
Which is handy to get away now and again when we can. It's never that often, but but yeah, I do like travelling. I like getting around. Bit of
Greece. It's got to be. I mean, Greece is the favourite place for me. I've got a bit of a
I love Greece.
Connection to that country.
Absolutely love it. Yeah, I've been to Corfu loads, doing the old 1830s raves and stuff like that over the years. I do housework over there now, which is another really, really good brand. Day rave, sort of more mature crowd sort of brand. They're fantastic.
I think Housework is one of the few. It's probably the only big brand event doing day raves that I haven't been to yet.
Yeah, Housework's nice. Yeah, it's not a huge crowd, but it's just. I look at it a bit same as what I do with Slip Back in Time. It's just a really nice bunch of people.
Yeah, well, I heard their event at Koko, their Day of the Dead event at Koko. I heard it was absolutely rammed. So.
Yeah. They're doing some great stuff. Yeah. All of those good. How, like you mentioned, Houses of Feeling, it's all good. Clockwork still going strong, isn't it?
Yeah. No, I mean there's a lot to choose from, and long may that continue. Quick question from Dan Candy: what's a good go-to track to get a cold crowd going?
Cool, blimey. It depends what's around at the time, really, because you can't just play any old big track. So it really does depend on what's doing it at the moment. I'm sort of.
Well, if you went to a gig now, and the crowd was a bit like that, what do you think you would whack on?
I mean, so if it was an old school gig, I'd probably put on one of the Prodigy tunes or something like that. If it was a really cold crowd, just so, as a DJ, you just want, if it's a cold crowd, you need to put on something that's exceptionally good. Like
you actually did at one of your gigs,
or something that everyone knows.
At one of your gigs, you did actually put on "No Good Start the Dance," and that's one of my
went through my head when I said Prodigy. Yeah,
that's one of my favourite tracks of all time. That was the track that I would always get up on a podium and do my thing when I was back in the day. And almost no one ever plays it now. They might play Firestarter, sometimes you get out of space.
I'll play no good. Yeah, I'll play that.
Yeah, but I absolutely love that track. So yeah, if we can have that on Saturday, mate, I'd be well up for that.
Yeah, that could be one. Yeah.
All right, wicked. So we're going to wrap it up. When else can people see you? We've got Rain Dance this Saturday. I think you've got a couple more gigs this side of Christmas.
I'm in Norwich before Rain Dance actually for Big Fish, Little Fish, which is a family rave. So if you've got your little ones and you fancy a family rave, there's that going on. I'm at Bangface on Sunday, which is up in Skegness.
So you've got 3 gigs this weekend alone?
Yeah.
Friday, Saturday, and Saturday.
Yeah, no, I had 3 gigs last weekend, 4 gigs the weekend before that, 4 gigs the weekend before that. It's been a really, really busy time at the moment, yeah. But,
you know, I mean, I think it's good to take the opportunities while they're there.
Yeah. I'm at Peach. I think Peach on the 22nd.
The peach and strawberry event.
Fabric, yeah.
I'm at that, mate. So
that'd be great. Isle of Wight the week after that. Housework and Housework's on the 6th at Steelyard. I'm over in Tenerife on the 5th. It just goes on and on. There's loads.
Have you got a favourite venue you've played at?
There's too many really to say a favourite. But like I said, things like Koko. I like Koko. I like Ministry. I like all the big London ones. Good Fabric. I love Fabric as well. Yeah. You know, if they've got a really good sound system, decent monitors, and it's fairly busy, then I'm happy.
Might you go back into producing music tracks again? Do you think?
No, I'm doing stuff all the time.
Yeah.
The challenge is for me is that I am actually very busy. Doing the DJ thing, it's not just going out DJing at the weekend. It's a whole business.
Yeah.
A lot. Most people don't see that. You can't. You know, that's just the way.
Oh no! Trust me, I see it.
It's a whole business. So the biggest challenge for me is to actually get in the studio and do some stuff. But I am working on stuff all the time. It's just it takes me a bit of time to do it. I'm actually starting on my book next week as well. I've been threatening to do it for about 6 years now. I've actually found someone to help me do it. So that's starting in 5 days. I actually start that, and
you're doing a biography as well.
Yeah.
Oh mate, I could have helped you with that. That's one of my jobs.
Yeah.
I'm doing Richards from Rain Dance, so I'm working on that with him. So I may well have to come back to you to pry out some of his darkest secrets. But,
I've got a bit of stuff on him. Don't worry about that. I'm joking.
Before we go, I have a DJ friend, totally different genre to yourself. You probably won't have heard of her, but her name's DJ Rachel, and she was the first female East African DJ because it was a very male-dominated scene. And she's gay, and her and her partner they were Ugandan, so obviously you get persecuted for doing that with it. So they fled. They fled to LA, and she started carving a music career out in Los Angeles. Currently, she's in hospital fighting for her life with cancer.
Oh dear!
So, if you could say a quick hello to her,
hello,
as one DJ to another, I'd really appreciate it.
Sorry to hear your situation. So I only wish you all the best, and hopefully you're going to come through fine. But
I've said to her I will get her a gig. I'll get her a gig on the London day rave scene when she pulls through. So I might come back to you with that.
Something to go for, isn't it?
Yeah, she's a wicked person and a wicked DJ. So thanks for that, mate. I appreciate that. These things really help when people are dealing with that stuff. And I know she's going to watch this. So brilliant. Well, listen, Matt, thanks so much for your time. Just know that this channel is always available to you. So, for example, when your book comes out, why don't you come back on again and talk to us about that, and we can promote your book for you.
Yeah, cool.
and I'll be happy to do that for you. No problem. And also, don't forget to get a copy of mine, because you do get mentioned in it a few times.
Okay.
Fantastic.
You need to send me a signed copy. I'll go and grab one.
I might have one for you on Saturday.
Okay.
So I'll see what I can do. All right. So that's it from us. Thanks so much to Matt for giving up your time. We did have a few people come on and take part in the live. I really appreciate that. Not normally my as Keith says, you're now an unofficial member of the Outcast Creative. There you go. That's true. The only requirement is that you come on and give up some of your time. So I'm going to be back online again on Sunday, where I'm talking to first-time filmmaker King Nikki, who's just done her first horror film. We're going to be talking to her about that, giving her a bit of a plug. And I've got about another 10 interviews between now and Christmas, with everything from people from the rave scene, film industry, actors, all kinds of people coming on. So do check out some of those. And I've got my regular weekly review show Tuesday 10 p.m. UK time, where we talk about all the latest films and TV shows that we think you should watch. We don't focus on the crap stuff that we think you shouldn't watch. There's plenty of people are doing that on YouTube. I try and focus on the stuff I think you should watch. So Matt, thanks so much, mate. I will see you on Saturday.
See you on the dance floor.
Yeah, absolutely. Look forward to it. All right, mate. And all the best to a lovely partner. And we'll speak soon.
Lovely. Cheers, mate.
Cheers. Bye.
He's creative, how about you?